the Dragon Knight, and a Brewmaster to round out the last two.
I like the Dragon Knight pickup. He's a hero that doesn't benefit from Drow in the early laning stage, but when he pops his ultimate, he does. He gets that bonus damage. So, and it's also very high armor, so if TA goes on him, at least the meld basically counteracts his Dragon Blood, and he's got a couple 5+ after that. So I feel like the DK pick is something that they'd rather lane versus the Drow, rather than just having Drow made and potentially get killed. You can also set up for kills on the Drow by being able to stun and then breathe fire afterwards once his shield is broken. So I like that pick there. I think it's going to be a Puck off lane then, and that's going to be Puck versus a Lion Undying, so really not that bad for Puck. They could just do a safe try. I think that's a lot safer with a Drow Ranger, because you don't really want to aggressive for animation's bad. Yeah, you can get some slow, but you don't usually want more than one skill point in it. So they'll just do the safe try lane. I doubt we'll see Unknown go aggressive, but they could with Brewmaster, Lion, and Dime. It's not terrible, but it is 2 melee, so I think it's going to be, both teams are not quite perfectly happy with their drafts, so we're going to see a safe versus safe. I would expect Puck off lane, and the off lane for Unknown is Brewmaster, I guess.
Yep, Greedy. Greedy's going to be playing on the Brew, and I was just looking at that, and that concerns me. I mean, whenever you talk about, you're going to have Blink Initiation, one would hope, at a decent clip coming out of the Lion. The Brew play has to be on point. And the reason it concerns me is Greedy struggled tremendously in our last game. He was off on his hooks, and now you're playing on a hero that is very micro-intensive, a hero that you have to make sure you get maximum value out of that split in every possible way with the variety of abilities. If they can do that, like if they can take Drow out of the fight and then focus down a DK or the opposite or what have you, then they're going to be in really good shape. Unfortunately, if they're unable to do that, especially with the DK, as you pointed out, a natural candidate to just get up and face tank in front of that meld, in front of the TA, not going to be super scared of the Shadow Fiend, regardless of presence of the Dark Lord and so on. This is going to be a very nuanced matchup, I think. It's going to seem like just a lot of range DPS and the whole, we're going to have our hype moments. I'm sure we're going to have good Graves, we're going to have good Coils, and probably good Brewmaster play as well. But so much of this is just going to come down to every player doing their job on one side or the other, because one small mistake can turn what would normally be a 1 for 2 or 2 for 2 into a 4 for 0.
So they're getting ready to take the bottom rune. Should be an easy bounty for Unknown. I don't think Root really wants to fight this because it's Drow Ranger, You're not doing much at level 1. You're going to pass back to your lane, and you're going to get the aura. Observer Ward placed. I think that blocks. It's very close to the line. It might not. It might be slightly too high, but we'll see. I think it's barely high enough. There's a little tree clump to the left. I think that's the horizontal line. We'll check it at 30 seconds. I'll remind you, because I like to know that stuff. Off lane is going to be a duel to start things off. Dazzle. No, it's actually Puck Lina. So very long range attack on Lina. He's got Boots first as well, so extra strong. And he's got an AoE stun. So if this is a solo SF, and that's what it looks like based on the map, he's going to get wrecked the first couple levels. And on the bot lane, it's a Drow and a Dazzle, which is pretty safe here. And Dazzle is a good range attack. He also goes for poison attack. One of the few players, like I mentioned last round, one of the few players that actually is skilling that up. So I think this favors Root, at least for now when Line gets here. He's got to be a little careful because he doesn't have Boots himself. His animation's a bit worse. Stun's going to land SF down to half HP. The Line come from the back, but they don't have to worry about this at all. I mean, they can just pressure him. Look at that. Just a couple hits, big range advantage. This is good for Root in all lanes, with the exception of maybe in the mid lane, where TC is mostly just going to aim to try to get as many CS as possible and not get outplayed by Kotaru.
I think he's going to be fine. Just having Breathe Fire, he doesn't have to really take any risk. He can soak up XP. Missed him.
He's going for it. Gets it first blood. Monkeys forever, and he gets phase shift, dodges the tower hit. This could be a double kill. The stun lands Root. Wants the game to win.
Disaster. Absolute disaster for Unknown. Saying it favored Root, you were on point, and they cannot have this happen. They just can't. Now that top lane is more or less lost. TC going to continue to do fine in mid, and down at bottom, Tanky as the Brew and the Undying are. They're going to be able to get out there and lead with the chin a little bit. But so long as Moo can just get something going, this is what they got to worry about. Early points in the Ice Arrows, not going to overcommit to it. But yeah, 2-0, and Root that much closer now to advancing into the next round.
Fluff's just playing really well here, and that's pretty much why you don't play Shadow Fiend in the safe lane, because you can't outplay him. He doesn't have a disable. He has some nukes, but most of the time you need the safety of the tower to retain you're not dying. So he does get killed, and the Lion dying as well, maybe not the best dual lane hero. TC's going to pull the creeps to the top rune so that he can grab that, and then he'll pull him back mid and be like, I definitely still want these CS. I'm just going to hold them for until later. So, almost a dive on Drow. Tomb goes down, actually. That's some free gold, and it's going to be about 4 shot here. 75 gold, about a last hit and a half, and they're very happy with how bot lane's going. Unknown needs to make something happen on the bot lane, or they're very quickly going to get stomped here. And I think that's what it's kind of looking like.
Drow actually is not farming as well as you would think. She's sitting at 5 CS right now and doubled up by Greedy. So.
And that's because he's been playing really safe, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's got boots now. Now he can play a little bit more aggressive. The only slow they have is Brew Clap and Zombies. So if they get 2 zombies spawned on him, he's in trouble because the Brew will catch up. Other than that, he just has to make sure Brew doesn't clap on him. Now that he has boots, he's in a good spot. We're going to see his CS jump up.
Take a look at top lane, where I would imagine the most volatility still exists. We've still got, I didn't see Lion's level. He's got to be fairly low level. Level 4 for Puck, though, and he's in wonderful shape. Yeah, Lion, level 2. The Shadow Fiend continuing the struggle, and the you know, you brought it up when they went to lane, and it is so unbelievably hard for a Shadow Fiend early on. The attack range on Puck and Lina are both tremendous. You're able to harass him anytime he gets anywhere near coming to lane to CS, even though he's also a ranged hero. And with the Lion so underleveled, they gave up that early double kill. This is just going to be a rough lane for him. He's farming actually better than I would have anticipated sitting at 13, but I don't know how long that's going to continue.
He's doing okay, considering the bad situation he's in. He's just going to zone him out. Fluff is very happy to do this, because normally as a support, think about the offlane. You're happy to zone the offlaner at sake of your experience, and he's basically doing the same thing. He's like, I'm fine not standing by the creep wave. I'm level 3 already. It's looking good for me. Nice little stacking there by the line. If we take a look on the pull camp on the Radiant side, that Observer Ward did not block, by the way. It was a little bit too south, so if Dazzle ever does want some solo experience, he can very easily shift over there and start the pull. So another mistake by Unknown.
4-minute rune is up. TC has his invis, and TC's doing just fine. You were talking about being worried about his CS, but I mean, he's at 20 CS right now, only 5 behind the TA. And TA is one of those miserable heroes that the longer the game goes, the worse she gets in lane and the harder she gets to deal with. But really for TC, I mean, on the Dragonite, he just is not going to have a lot to worry about. He's got 1 point in the Dragon Blood. He's got max Breathe Fire, so he can always shove the lane if he begins to feel threatened. And it looks like Lina actually just got a kill as well. And TC, yeah, I mean, you can see he's taking some harassment, but he's doing just fine. And the Lion once again dropped. So this top lane continues to really be a liability for Unknown.
They're losing top, they're trading even mid, and bot lane they're slightly winning. But the scary part is that SF needs a better start than this. He's going to have a bottle soon, I guess, in about 50 gold, but he needs a bottle to start AFK jungling, and Lina's going to continue pressuring us. I think Lina's about level 4 here, level 3 still. He's got phase boots. Oh my god, that's so strong for what they're ttrying to do. The stun lands on top of TA. This is looking dangerous for him. He doesn't have meld, by the way, so he's not going to be able to just go invis here, but he does have a refraction. Pops at the last second, but the poison damage from the Dragonite's burning right through his refraction charges. Dragon Slay's barely missing, and Fluff wants to go for this one. He definitely can, but there is a bottle on the TA. Very wise TP here. Yep. Definitely the safe escape. Unfortunately, the Lina stun missed. I do like the fast phase boots that he picked up, though. It makes his hero so strong in the early game. He can get from lane to lane faster. Might see a stun on TC, but it's going to be stretching it here. Yep. Monkey's getting a kill on the top lane, but Shadow Fiend picking him up immediately after. TC will go down, actually. Yep. Should have continued running straight instead of curving around the tower. I guess he didn't see the line coming or something. Yep. That's a death that I think didn't need to happen on TC, but still okay for Root because they did trade the Puck, who got experience on the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to worry too much about losing the Puck. I mean, Puck is going to be able to be impactful even with a death or two under his belt, whereas the Shadow Fiend, like you said, and we saw it right as you brought it up, he tried to go into the jungle to take a big old stack at the hard camp in the dire jungles. It's still there? Yeah, it's still there. He went and he actually raised it twice, but with a Satyr there, they actually healed up. He's unable to go in there with any hope of clearing them with any decent clip until he manages to get, okay, he does have his bottle now, so he should be able to go to work. But just being slowed down this much is a big deal. That said, despite the fact that he's got 3 deaths, or is that 2? It's 2 deaths up to right now. He is at 31 CS, and he is going to work now, and he should be able to do a pretty good job with these jungle camps. So it's been a good job by Root at top lane, but they need to stay diligent. They can't let him just live in that jungle for the next 10 minutes.
And the draw's caught up a little bit on CS, hitting at 18 versus the Brewmaster's 24. So, and again, Drow is usually a hero that sacrifices heavily by buying a lot of stat items, maybe not the most efficient. They might be able to catch the Undying here. We have Lina over in the side jungle, but he looks pretty big right now. Looks like he has a lot of decay stacks, so might be a little scary. He actually has 2 levels of decay, something we almost never see for skill build, but his mana pool is also kind of low. So Drow's actually done a great job zoning these heroes with help from Dazzle, I think. It's looking good for them. Once they hit 6, they can definitely score a kill here, but before that, I think their damage isn't quite enough.
I love this rotation of Fluff down here, leaving it as a one-on-one up at top. And they know these are two melee heroes. And yes, they're getting close to 6. Brew will have his ulti not too long, but oh, they're going to engage.
Poison touch as well. He's not 6 yet, so he's got to be careful. He claps the creeps, but that's it. Wow, that's
great timing. That's exactly what I was saying. He's going to be 6 soon, but coming down now, they have a chance to really put pressure onto these two melee heroes with no reliable way of escape. The Tombstone didn't even have the mana for it, and so on. So that's actually a very good kill for them. And more importantly, they're isolating their puck completely alone up in that top lane, and he's able to just farm and farm and farm. He's got 1,840 gold towards his Blink Dagger already.
He has 48 CS at 8 minutes as an offlane hero. He has the most CS in the game.
Yep.
And that's beautiful, especially because puck offlane usually has some trouble getting levels and farm, can be zoned very easily by his support. But because Root has started with these dual lanes and they've gotten a ton of kills out of it, it allows them to also have tons of lane pressure and get the most CS. He even died and he still has the most CS. That is so impressive. Like, he's got more CS than heroes that have just simply not died in their lane. So he's lacked himself, 15, 30, 45 seconds of being in lane. He still has more than anybody else. Really good play from Monkeys so far.
He's also denied well as well. I know that's a small thing to mention, but he's got 20 denies. And whenever you're talking dual lane versus dual lane, that's
spotted by the neutral creep, but there's a Hex. That should be his death. A bit out of position here.
Yep.
Wasn't anticipating there being a line ready to go. You can't be that close to a Shadow Fiend if you can't land the stun, and because he was Hex, easy kill there. So Fluff making his first mistake this game. Good position to potentially set up for the kill. He was waiting for somebody to go back in lane, though.
TC should have no problem bringing this tier 1 mid down momentarily. He has a Breathe Fire whenever he wants to use it, and yeah, he's not going to bother. Just going to hang on to it for now. And a couple of more ticks from his right click in the Poison Dragon form on the tower should be more than sufficient. Yeah, they're going to bring Fluff in just in case. And yeah, easy tower kill. And we'll see how they want to begin to break this map down. They do, actually, up at top, Puck in a little bit of trouble.
He does have Blink, sells it, buys it from the secret shop. Again, there's a Blink out.
Oh,
nice play.
Beautiful.
That's exactly what I needed to do. I was like, I think he's got Blink, and then it was in the shop. He had to sell it, buy it. Barely made it out. Good play by him. He probably bought a little early because he panicked, and then it was in the stash. That's probably the issue. Yeah. But I think Fluff has been playing fantastic. Like, I think he was the MVP in the last game, and he's doing similar things this game. He helped Monkeys Forever get a really good start. He set up the kill on the Brewmaster on the bot lane. He's helped zone the TA in the mid. He did miss that one kill on TA, and they did die to the Shadow Fiend up top, but he's been everywhere he needed to be. Him just TPing back mid as soon as he respawned was also really significant because it helped him guarantee the tower didn't get denied. So he's doing really well.
See a stack going up for TA.
He's been jungling that, by the way. That was a stack before, and he killed it. So he's been
now he's going to double damage as well.
Yeah.
TA, what do you think the item build's going to be here?
Probably Blink. They need somebody to gap close and get on top of the Drow Ranger. Drow is pretty squishy. I mean, she does have a lot of armor because of her agility gain, but if you jump on top of her, she loses her ult and then her armor goes way down. So I think TA is going to need a Blink here. They need to blow people up, and Lena's an option. Dazzle's maybe an option, but at the same vein, maybe they need Deso BKB. I really don't know. Deso BKB maybe is what they need because then he doesn't get locked down, but Blink may be the right option as well.
There's actually
not quite sure.
A fair amount of just team. Like, if they just want to go 5-man right now, I think they can do a decent job, and yeah, we could see it from her stats, man.
Puck TP into the bot lane, so gonna look to set up a Dream Coil. His HP's a little low, but it's okay. He's only got one phase shift. It's a little scary. Oh, I like this play. Okay, he was just scouting for Roche, because they do go for Roche a lot. The TA's been jungling Ancients a lot, so they thought maybe he's going for a cheesy early Roche, but instead he's just been farming Ancients here. Something we don't see that much early on versus a TA, but considering how fast he killed those stacks without us noticing, it's efficient. You're basically doing, look at all this cleave damage, like, it's
and this
very,
is without the
good.
double damage. He picked up that DD and still hasn't used it. Oh, there's going to be a coil. They're going to catch Greedy.
He's going to be silenced, I think.
They committed enough. I think he should hold on to it. Yeah, he will. That's the right call. Now they're going to come out. There's the ulti from the Undying. Weave as well.
Yep. I thought maybe he would just not. The orb looked dangerous. I was like, do you really want to go into that orb? It looks a little scary. They're set up for that. But they get out. They do waste the Dream Coil. Obviously, they did have a silence, but I think what happened there was Undying was hiding in the trees and turning things around, or at least made it scary in there. Now he's taking Roche with the DD. It's about halfway through here. I don't know if he'll be able to get in time. I guess they forgot again about TA. And this guy is the king of just taking Roche.
Yep.
He plays it like a pub. He actually does. He's like, oh, I'll just take Roche whenever by myself. No big deal. Nobody will ever know.
Well, he needs to make sure he gets it and hopes he doesn't get spotted with Drow Ranger.
He's getting low.
Yeah. thing is, like, if they leave Roche right here, it's going to be an easy pickup for Root. We saw the opposite happen in game 1. Root left a Roche wide open for
himself. I feel like he should be able to get this with another Meld Strike.
Yep.
He'll get it. Yeah, he's got this, no problem.
That's such a big win in terms of gold, XP, and everything else. And the Aegis is nice, but just making sure that he's dominant on the map. Net worth after that is now the highest on the map. So he's in decent shape.
Setting up for the bot lane, though. He's got the Gus. No Blink Dagger on Brewmaster. He's about 1,800 gold. Getting close, though. If they could collapse on this right now, who's that coming from the top? This Lion coming from the river as well. This is looking good. Silence lands on the Brewmaster.
Ooh, bad follow.
Dragon Knight ready to do a stun. And who's going to stay alive? Great heal there. That's going to keep him alive. That would have been a huge kill for Lion, but doesn't matter. They get the kill. Orb coming through. Puck ult on 3. Silence on 3. They got to kill the Tomb right away. Great decay on top of Moo. Almost picks him off there. He almost dies again to the Soul Rip. That's the hero to focus, but they're not quite getting the value out of there. Good Tombstone, though. That could have been way worse if not for the great Tomb positioning.
Yep, I agree. I agree. And Greedy saved his ulti there. So I like that. Like, honestly, what I think Root's doing is, I'm sure there's a conscious element to it, but, you know, trying to bait out the Brewmaster ulti at this stage of the game, and if they can make sure his ult's on cooldown and everything else is up and running for them, they can begin to 5-man. Like, they have the potential to do it with the initiation. They certainly have the damage. They have the push power with all of the ranged heroes, plus, of course, just the innate push power of a DK. And so far, I think Unknown's doing a fairly good job of keeping that under control, not overcommitting to fights, making sure that when they do take a fight, it's to their benefit, and a benefit that's worth having, not just a small benefit that then maybe puts you out of position later. But now TA has a Deso. Deso done on TA at 14 minutes in, no blink, so going straight damage right out the gate. May end up going a blink next, though.
He hits pretty darn hard with Refraction, hitting for almost 250. Plus the minus armor, he's going to absolutely blow up the Drow, the Lina, or the Dazzle if he gets on top. No mobility other than phase boots, so it's a little hard. They're pinging, they saw him moving. He's likely to go into the tower. They don't have Dragon Knight ulti just yet. It's probably still about 30-40 seconds off cooldown. And they can't really fight before it. So very wisely what Root says is, okay, they're here, he's got a Desolator, he hits really hard. We don't even want to think about fighting this. Everybody TP mid, we push mid, we control their jungle, we dive top tier 2 and look for a kill. Man, Fluff can actually just kill this guy. If he lands a stun, he's dead. Ooh. Cancels it.
I think he saw him.
Yep. Not so sure.
That or just good game sense.
I think it's game sense because the bot tower died for nothing and nobody else is showing on the map. So he was like, you know, this is a little dangerous. Man, that killed the creep wave so fast there. But really high net worth on the TA this game, playing very well. He just anciented so fast. Like, that got him a ton of farm. That was incredible.
Well, we saw the pressure he was under early as well. And even though they didn't kill him, just being able to pressure him that much and make it that hard for him. You know, what's really working well for Root, though, is they're doing a great job of taking objectives even whenever they're not really taking, like, a huge objective together. They are going to end up trading tier 2 for tier 1, though, so that's favorable for them at the very least. But it looks like with the Deso done and the blinks up on the heroes they need to be up, and Brew having yet to use Split, and of course the mech, as we just saw, complete on the Shadow Fiend, it looks like they actually are the guys ready to 5-man right now. If I'm Root, I feel confident-ish, but you better make sure that you're on point with your initiation. You have to be.
Monkey's doing his best to slow things down. I don't think they really want to fight this based on their movements around the map. They're a little scared to do it. Sentry goes down to make sure they don't have a vision advantage. I mean, they've got TA with a ton of damage. They have Brew with a blink ult. They have a team fight in Undying, and even Lion can really help out in early team fights. So it's scary for Root to take fights. They have to get good positioning, but they don't really want to trade any more towers here. They're just going to try to stop the push or slow the push and look for opportunities to go in.
They can just slow siege this
Poison Touch to break the Refraction. I don't know if it actually triggers Refraction charges or not. It might be too little damage, but he is out of the charges. He still has Aegis. That's the even harder part. They've got Aegis and better team fight. But in the meantime, Moo split pushing. He really doesn't even need to be in the fight. He really doesn't do that much damage. He just has a Treads and an Aquila, so it looks like Unknown may back. Some of them have. They've TP'd from Darkness, but no, they spotted out this. Oh, Shadow Blade. That's going to initiate things. He ran in too far, but do they have a stun ready to go?
Oh, they're going to get
die in the bot lane, but I think this is worth it here.
Oh, totally worth it. And now the Brewmaster ult's on cooldown as well. So they're going to be able to move and push right up mid lane with all the confidence in the world. TA's down. I doubt she wants to spend a buyback. And, yeah, with the Brewmaster ult, she does have buyback if she wants it. But with the Brew ult down, you're so reliant on taking big 4-on-4, 5-on-5 fights with the disruption that he creates. When you don't have it available, you're going to have the hardest time doing anything to really slow this down.
I would trade a Drow for a TA anytime during this game. It's so much more. Like, it gives your whole team a bunch of damage, but that's pretty much all Drow does. It's more of a weakness, if anything. That's the hero you want to go on. Everybody else on your team is pretty survivable compared to that. So if they can defend, I don't know, there's a haste on Shadow Fiend that's super big. He should be able to run in. This tower will go down most likely, but will they be able to get kills as well? Like Root's position, they go in, jump on the clap, there's a heal on TC, pops the Shadow Blade, and they should just disengage here.
Yeah, I don't know how they follow it. Like, there's just no follow-up whenever you don't have the Brew to take those heroes out of the fight.
Yeah. So overall, very good for Root. They lost 1 for 1. That was their carry for the enemy mid, but Kotaru, I think, is definitely the star player on Unknown. So if you can trade him for somebody that's pretty much like a give my team agility hero, then or give them a damage hero, then I think you're in a good spot. Obviously, Mu a great player, but his goal is pretty much just to farm and increases the base damage of Lina, Puck, everybody, even Dazzle. So
when it gives us, I mean, we saw it in action literally just moments ago. Also gives Root the option of if they find themselves in a position where they don't want to fight, they don't want to 5-man, you have a phenomenal split pusher. And that alone, the frustration factor of that, if you're Unknown trying to take these fights, is tremendous. So, and then you wind up in situations like we saw where it's like, oh, okay, we're going to send 2 back because we don't want to lose this tower. Then maybe you assume Root is really committed to not fighting, but they see that you send 2 back, so they engage 4-on-3, and so on and so on and so on. It creates this huge flow chart of decisions that Unknown has to make just by having that on top of, as you mentioned, just, hey, I'm going to build some items, I'm going to do some damage, and more than anything, I'm going to let every ranged hero on my team do more damage.
I keep seeing that word, and I'm like, is that a power cog? Why is there only 1 cog left? That's what I keep thinking, at least. They're all over the place. Those look so much like power cogs. It's like the circle with something vertical coming out of it.
Yep.
But it's really just a fish. It's an anglerfish somehow on the surface.
I wouldn't
look his little
guess
tongue.
that.
Fluff and Fun have 3 deaths between them. That's really good. Fluff has actually been playing amazing this qualifier. I dare say one of the best supports. I mean, I'm already a Fluff fanboy because he's a good friend of mine, but you see a coil on Shadow Fiend getting him pretty low, but Brewmaster's in the area. He actually goes through with it. Possibly going to juke things. Does get clapped. This is pretty dangerous for him. He needs a phase shift here. He's probably dead. He does get picked off. Definitely needed to not go that way. I don't know why he did. Maybe thought Brewmaster couldn't catch him. But Lina dying as well, actually. Not a good 30 seconds for Root, and this is going to allow Unknown to push, and things are back on the other foot again.
And then this is really, we just spent like the last few minutes talking about some of the weaknesses of Unknown. Here's their strength. When they do execute, stuff dies really quickly. Like this tier 3, look at how quickly this is going down.
He goes in, splits up.
They're going to go split. That catches Moon. Now they're going to try to engage TC, though, running them out. This is actually not a good split at all. They already lose the Earth Spirit, and the tier 3 is going to drop for free. And they got to be careful here. Puck's going to be back up in 8 seconds. They have the option to engage here if they choose to do so.
Dead.
Yeah, this is actually really dangerous.
That was the Weave doing tons of minus armor there. TC chasing, but they put the sentry down. He senses danger, and it's like, maybe I should wait for my team. Does end up chasing. They're going to try to turn this, actually, but they don't have Tomb. All they're going to have is Tombstone and other spells. Great ult from Shadow Fiend. Going to do a decent amount of damage, but there's the heal. Grady jumping in against out. Oh my gosh, the cleave from the TA catches 2 heroes.
TC
dies immediately.
Beautiful grave as well. Now Fluff going to work, drops the Laguna Blade. He will be able to drop the Lion. And now Z-Tog on top of Fun. Look at the meld. The meld from Unknown. Just blistering damage.
Monkeys is gonna, barely gets the blink off. He died there. That was guaranteed. Rax, Breathe Fire is used. That's buyback from Dragon Knight. Had to get back in here. Saving the Rax is so important, but Dragon Knight ulti is gone, and Refraction is up. It's taking the damage, the bonus damage. Medallion helping out as well. Big hit on TC. He's getting hit so hard right now.
They cannot stand up to that at all. They just can't.
There's the Tomb. They're hitting it.
Good coil. Recoil. And let's see, can they follow it up with any damage? That's a very low Shadow Fiend sitting around the back. TC still very scared to go in. Shadow Blade on. No, he actually just used it. I was going to say it was on cooldown, but he just put it on cooldown. And it looks like that'll be the disengage. BKB, all of that happened, by the way, with Shadow Fiend not having magic immunity. So that's, if they're able to accomplish that much without any magic immunity whatsoever, I think they're going to be in decent shape looking ahead. But yeah, I mean, we just got poetry in motion in terms of Unknown. they are very, very slavish in terms of their execution. They have to get things just right. But when they do, the damage output with the minus armor, if Dazzle's dead or he doesn't land a good weave or the weave is mistimed, they're going to be able to just blow up so many of these heroes, especially if they're a little overzealous in how they commit to these fights, like we've seen our Puck be on the side of Root. They are smoked, moving through their own jungle and moving towards Roshan now. And there's going to be a sentry. And, yep, they're going to see Greedy.
Ooh, they can't.
Oh, blinks up to the high ground. They ping it immediately. They know right where he is.
He pinged himself, I think.
Oh, I think it was fun that pinged him, actually. I think that was a yellow.
We'll see. Ward goes down. Do they see him? I'm not sure if they... Yeah, they do not have vision. So, they don't know where he is. Good spot to hide to maybe set up, but... Definitely a moment of terror for Root there. And it was all because two heroes got picked off. And if it was just one, I think they would have been okay there, but both heroes getting picked off put them in a really bad spot. And it led to that series of events. There's the big Yules on the Undying. Here comes the stun as well.
Got it.
That's going to be a burst right there.
Huge.
Oh, ulti as well. Forces the split, so this gives them 120 seconds where they can get stuff done. He's going to do as much as he can with this, but it's not going to accomplish anything. In fact, oh no, I forgot. They don't give gold anymore. It's going to be like 26 gold. Big advantage for Root.
With the Brewmaster split being used there, Roche is coming right up here shortly. That should be a free Roshan.
20 seconds on Undying, but with no Brew split, as long as they deal with the TA, I think they'll be okay.
Yep, solid 100 seconds of time, and TA going to try to
he's going to stretch the map. Really good idea here. Because if Roche was already spawned, by the way, Root would be finishing this up, and they could go defend. Now they're going to have to send somebody back, which makes it so dangerous because, I mean, Unknown could actually just take Roche. If one person goes back to defend against the TA, they lost their advantage. Now it's spawning. They needed that to spawn a little bit earlier. They're still going for it, though. Weave on 4 heroes. They're going to take it down slowly. Fluff on the right side, going to spot out some heroes. Yules
there we go.
The SF. Greedy goes in, but he gets gusted back. No ultimate or spells for him. Lina as well, hitting the Shadow Fiend. That's good when you can trade a support for a core.
That makes no sense to me. He's going to buy back. We do see that in the meantime, the TA did manage to bring down a Rax. They send the Puck back, and even though Bruce sacked himself, this is going to be another death, by the way, as Lion bites the dust.
But for the Rax, is it worth it? Fluff's got to be careful. Melee Barracks is going to fall. I think it's got a couple hits, needs about 4 more. I think Melee Barracks is down for sure. Root, in the meantime, going to try to take control of the Roche area. Do they have a stun? Stun from TC. Big damage on the Brewmaster. Blink Dagger on Drow Ranger, really helping out. Now the SF as well, a little overextending Medallion, and the Drow damage is so big, but wow, that blows up the Dragon Knight. He should have walked away from that one, and Templar Assassin now shifting in. Oh, great stun, and Drow goes down. Good trade for Unknown. They get a Rax. Fun looks pretty dead here. Hex comes through. Maybe a stun as well. Man, that damage is big.
This is a huge win for Unknown. They got the Rax. And look, they're going to get Roche.
Ooh, that's such a big advantage.
Yeah, like, I'm baffled by the way that went out. You know, the Brew went in. He went in without split. He knew he was basically a sacrificial lamb. And I guess it was just to be distracting, just to do what damage he could, just to make it more complicated.
Can Lina get a kill here? That's the question. No, Aegis gets picked up, and they did that perfectly. Kotaru said, okay, they're going to Roche right now, so I'm going to go split push the vulnerable mid because that push went well earlier. Maybe if they didn't, I think the main thing that Root should be kicking themselves for was those 2 pickoffs that led to the tower. If the tower was up, they could have stayed, they could have gotten Roche, they didn't have to send the Puck back. Maybe Puck shouldn't have even gone back at all. He didn't.
What's he going to do by himself?
Nothing. All he can do is break refraction charges. That's it. He doesn't have a stun. I mean, they basically didn't have any options. Maybe they should have just committed, said, look, done one or the other, been like, okay, you got a Rax, but we're going to get Roche at least, and that should give us an advantage right now.
No, I completely agree. That's the only thing that makes sense is like, okay, so they bail out of Roche. They end up losing a lot of heroes on the back of that. They bail out with just the Puck. He goes home, basically just mean mugs the TA while she chops at the Rax. Like you said, he has no way to do anything to her. He can try to drop a coil if he wants, but it doesn't matter. Like, her damage output is such that he's not going to be able to engage her in any meaningful way. He's certainly not going to be a threat. So the end result is, okay, you had to spend a couple of buybacks. We saw Unknown have to buy back on a couple of heroes. BFD, man. You got the Rax, you got an Aegis, and you got a huge gold lead. Like, who cares?
So Shadow Fiend goes top now, getting close to his Scotty. I think on the bright side, Monkeys Forever almost has his eggs on the Puck.
Yeah.
He had a couple pieces earlier. That's actually, he does have it. It's very significant versus what Unknown built. 2 of the heroes built BKB, so now he can stun through BKB. So if they get people out of position, Unknown could be very, very punished by this, but only if they're also willing to retreat. The TA could very likely just stand their ground. Oh, gotta protect the DD. Stun comes through. They just gotta kill the DD, and then they should be able to play her. There's the BKB. Now they just need to not die. And there it is. The Ag stun.
Perfectly timed.
And he's gotta be unhappy about this one. Silence comes through. Kotaru's taking a lot of damage, but TC now turning around. He needs another stun. But The Brewmaster comes from the other side. Sentry down as well. Kotaro wants to get a hit off. Lina goes down, and there's the SF. Monkey's forever dodging it, but he goes high ground. 2 dead heroes now en route. The problem with Drow Ranger, man, Brew can just overrun him. TC running for his life. Breathe Fire as well, but that should be a dead Dazzle. And Unknown is taking it to Root. They are taking vengeance, and they are trying to stop Root from getting anywhere near TI5.
Root is overcommitting to these awkward fights. Like, it makes no sense. You have a team that is phenomenal so long as you can just run guns forward at the enemy. So long as you're the one dictating the fight, so long as you're the one who's setting up these fights in open spaces. They have a team that can excel at that. You have the ability to nullify. I mean, you know, even the Drow Ranger at this point, she's a threat to the Brewmaster spirits. Like, in terms of being able to drop those quickly, but she has to stay safe. Then they take these awkward fights in the river where it's like, okay, you have to deny the room, we understand. You know the TA has a BKB. There's no damn way that she's alone. She has refraction and so on and so on. That was such an overcommitment to try to get that kill, and it's bitten them in the ass super hard. Unknown takes a kill lead for the first time in the entire game. They have an Aegis at the ready on TA.
Wow, and the AC up now. The issue is they just didn't have enough physical damage. I genuinely thought they could kill her there, but once the BKB was up, they just didn't have it. The Drow especially went for less damage items. She hasn't really farmed that much. Blink Dagger, Helm of the Dominator, Yasha. Her damage is good, but not nearly enough to take out the TA. They had a medallion, I believe, but it wasn't quite enough to burst down the TA. Maybe they should have, the Solar Crest actually as well, and Undying, providing some extra armor. So Root needs to be able to pick somebody off at the start of the fight. The puck can force them out of position, but their single target damage isn't nearly high enough. Like, you've got to spoil Lina. There's the Hex on TC.
Oh my god, Fluff caught with one meld and loses 3/4 of his health. And Unknown, there's a pickoff for you. Buyback is up on Fluff. He may have to spend it and will. Here we go. One set of racks down. They're taking it right at the top lane. Let's see if Root's got the goods. Their tournament lives are on the line. And we saw Unknown lose our last game, meaning that theirs is essentially over. If they're able to pull this upset, though, if you want to call it that, they're basically gonna pay it back to Root. And what a heartbreaking way for things to end for them would this be. That Rax is down. There's going to be a Gus. Catches a few. They're going to move in. There's going to be a Coil. Caught a few.
Can they kill him? Kotaro's really low.
He's got an Aegis. Yep, he has the Aegis. Now the split. Beautifully timed. The Brew waited for the Aegis to pop. Comes in, ready to disrupt behind the fight as the respawn was coming up on TA. And yeah, they've run them off of their racks. That's one set of racks down, and they can just back here. It's like their ability to control the map from this point on is going to be unrivaled. There's a Scotty even on the Shadow Fiend. I think this one has fallen apart for Root. Root was in such a good position, but Unknown coming through, and again, not playing for anything but pride at this point, but sometimes pride's enough, or hell, if it's not pride, how about spite?
They've definitely got this game. Kotaro played so well. Very fast farm. He did a lot of AFK stuff like he did the previous games. Just a lot of jungling in the early game, but very efficient jungling. And from there, just really good decision making and item builds in his team fights. He countered Root's weakness. They don't have good single target damage through BKB. And they could maybe solve this if they had an Ags on Lina, but it's a support Lina.
Yep.
That would be their only instant solution. Or they needed TC to perform better and pick up more damage items. But because TC has been dying for some of these early fights, it's just, look at the net worth. TA is double the net worth of every single hero on the rating team. They can't deal with him very well, and he's not going to pick up. There comes a stun, comes the SM, great Hex as well.
And Kotaro, look at this. TC, even as tanky as he is, can't stand up to that damage. Maybe a bit of a premature BKB on the TA. Moo's going to be great, but don't think it's going to matter. The Scotty slows him down instead of buying time. Moo's going to end up dropping behind that TC. Next on the list, actually, he goes under cover of Shadowblade and allows him to get a kill on the Lion, but one good meld. No, never mind. Fun, once again, going to be caught with his own grave. Now, finally, they bring down the Dragon. Fun's next, and that's a 3-for-1, only dropping the poor Lion. In fact, Puck has to run for his life, and he's going to TP out. But this may be about all she wrote, my friend. The damage dealers are down for Root. Buyback status, I'm not sure what it is, but we'll take a look. Yeah, buyback is not up on Drow Ranger. That's the one piece of reliable damage they can really have. Same with DK. This is ballgame, and Unknown, again, showing themselves coming out of that open bracket, has not managed to extend their own tournament lives, but again, playing for pride, playing for spite, and playing to win, as they're going to put a cherry on top of this one.
Really nothing they can do about this. They're going to have to delay for like 15 seconds, and that's all they need. Brewmaster split, that's the mega creeps, and there's no way they can defend this with the low farm that they have. They moved around the map decently, I think. They had a lot of good push. Good game is called, but They had to not get those 2 heroes picked off, and they keep getting Roches snuck by Unknown consistently throughout the entire games. Their Roshans just kept getting taken from under their fingers. They had advantage. They should have been able to control, but really nice plays from Kotaro. Good split pushing. He crushed their dreams, and he was easily the MVP of both games. I mean, obviously they didn't win the first one, but he was easily the person holding things together for his team the first game. The same thing happened second game. He took the pressure. He evaded a gank. Imagine how different that would have been. Maybe if Fluff got that kill, when if he landed the stun mid, Kotaro may have died there. Would have decreased his GPM. Maybe they could have been more aggressive. But most importantly, I think it was those 2 pickoffs that allowed for the mid tier 3 tower to die.
No, I completely agree with you.
Those 2 deaths needed to not happen, or at least it only needed to be 1. Save the tower, make the split pushing by Kotaro, delay things by like 10 seconds more. Then they could have just hard committed to the Roshan, I believe. But with that said, we have more people on the couch, aka the desk, aka the spaceship.
This is the coolest looking couch I've ever been on ever.
I wish my couch looked like that. We got Brian and K-Poptosis and Coddle Guy, aka I had named 3 people, but at first I was like, maybe I should say K-Poptosis is